What are the common mistakes you're seeing people do regarding programming for concurrent training? Because it sounded like obviously you work with Newcastle and you've worked with a number of different sports. And I get the impression that people have been making similar mistakes when it comes to organizing their training week to try and maximize these mesocycles. What are the common ones are there? Is it just that the training volume of one quality just happens to be too high and they haven't monitored it properly for that particular athlete, that it then negatively affects the quality that they actually do want to focus on in that particular mesocycle?
Yeah, sure. Do you know what? The most common mistake, and this isn't to criticize any like technical coaches or anything like that, is the job of the sports scientists and S&C practitioners to educate them. It's a lack of appreciation from some coaches around, okay, so we're doing team training this afternoon. It's going to be a skills session. This isn't necessarily specific to any sport. It's a skills session. That's not really training. That's an easy session. You think about what that is physically, that's up to 90 minutes on your feet, low intensity aerobic stimulus. So high volume, low intensity, continuous aerobic stimulus. When you look at the evidence, that is the most likely stimulus to result in interference characteristics. Okay. But that session isn't perceived in any way as a physical session. It's a skill session. They're not doing anything. They are. Like they are. They're probably like, think about heart rate zones. They're probably zone 2, pushing up to zone 3 sometimes for most of that session. And it's the lack of appreciation of what a session like that will have on the goal of that short training cycle. So during a max strength block, if that's what's happening on pitch, that long, prolonged stimulus on pitch, on court, like this isn't specific to any sport. It's the lack of understanding of what technical training actually looks like physically. There were some good examples from this in racket sports when we were working with a few players those who worked in squash and racket sports will know this better than me, but like the ability to lunge quickly and get back into position is really important. Like lunge velocity was one of our important like performance indicators. If we're trying to improve that with an individual, but then they're on court for really high volumes in the week on their feet, oh no, it's just technical. This player's been on his feet all week, continuously excelling, decelling. Yeah, okay, it's not match play, it's not super high intensity, but like load, right? It's volume multiplied by intensity. So the volume's really high, even though the intensity is low, that is still fatiguing. So the biggest mistake I've seen in concurrent sports is a lack of appreciation for what technical training actually does to the athlete physically. So it's not so much like S&C practitioners, like people are aware of this. People know, like S&C practitioners know you need to consider that residual fatigue mechanism. So I don't for a minute think during a max strength block, everybody's absolutely battering their athletes in the morning and then expecting them to do a high quality lower body strength session in the afternoon. I don't think that happens. I think people are more clued up than that and they know what they're trying to achieve in their program. But what I've seen most is that lack of understanding is the wrong word. That's too harsh. Like the lack of appreciation for what technical sessions do physically to the athlete, if that makes sense.
No, certainly. Yeah, I always find it weird why when people are looking at their training week, especially in professional sport, surely you just can't have this head of these are the sessions I'm running, so these are the sessions I can only account for when it comes to the fatigue that
Yeah.
gets added onto the athlete. Like they do so much more, and we need to think much broader when it comes to the concurrent. Because if concurrent training is all about adding two different types of training and how that affects the athlete, well, they're doing a load of other stuff as well. Like that needs to be also considered.
That's the thing as well. So concurrent training, primarily it's focused on contrasting training methods. So endurance, strength, like the strength and endurance continuum, it's focused on contrasting ends. But literally what concurrent training means is just training for more than one physical quality within the same regimen. So it's not necessarily strength and endurance. Like they're the most contrasting. So that's what the research is focused on, the two most contrasting elements of that strength and endurance continuum. But yeah, literally all concurrent training means is training more than one thing at once, which like you're going to have to do in sport, right? You've got to improve things concurrently. But there are simple things we can consider, like, again, peripheral fatigue mechanisms, uppers and lowers, knowing what high, low, medium volume, moderate volumes of aerobic metabolic endurance stimulus are, and modifying those simple variables around blocks where we really have to prioritize max speed strength development